You have them so uncomfortable. And it's not because you're saying anything. It's not because you're posting indirect messages. It's not because you're trying to get their attention. No, you have them uncomfortable because you're doing something they never prepared themselves for. Nothing. You're not calling, you're not texting, you're not begging, you're not trying to explain yourself, you're not trying to convince them to stay. You're not trying to prove your value. You're simply living your life. And that silence right there has become louder than anything you could have ever said because they expected a chase. Some people make decisions assuming that they'll never experience the consequences. You see, they walk away expecting you to come after them. They ignore your calls because they assume you'll call again. They delay the apology because they assume you'll forgive them first. They create distance because they have convinced themselves you'll always be the one to close it. That's the pattern they know. That's the version of relationships that they have become comfortable with. So when you don't chase, their confidence becomes confusion. You see, the people who expect to be chased often build their decisions around the belief that you'll always come back. Think about it. If someone has always experienced people running after them, why would they expect anything different? If every relationship has taught them they'll forgive me, they'll wait, they'll understand, they'll come back, eventually they stop appreciating the people doing the chasing because what becomes expected rarely stays appreciated. That's why your silence feels so unfamiliar to them. And it's not because silence is cruel. It's because consequences are unfamiliar. And for the first time, they have to sit with a decision they assume someone else would fix. That's uncomfortable. Not because you're punishing them, because you're no longer rescuing them. And there's a huge difference. You don't have to punish people for their choices. Sometimes refusing to rescue them is consequences enough. And here's something that I've learned. The chase can become a distraction. It keeps one person busy proving their love while keeping the other person from proving theirs. Understand this. When one person is always chasing, the other person never has to ask themselves, what am I doing to keep this relationship healthy? Because someone else is carrying that responsibility. And the moment the chase stops, the relationship is finally forced to stand on its own. And that's when the truth becomes visible. And see, there's an old piece of wisdom that said, what people expect repeatedly, they eventually stop appreciating. And that applies to relationships too. If someone expects unlimited patience, they stop valuing it. If someone expects unlimited forgiveness, they stop respecting it. If someone expects unlimited access, they stop protecting it. And it's not because you lost value, but because familiarity convinced them that your presence was guaranteed. And speaking of knowing your value, you've probably noticed the shirt that I'm wearing today. This one is actually mine. And I wanted to wear it for this message because it represents exactly what we're talking about. Standing in who you are without needing anybody else to validate it for you. And if you like it, I'll have it linked below for you. You can check it out after the video. Now, back to what I was saying. Your presence was never something somebody should have been taught to appreciate by watching you beg them to recognize it. And that's one of the reasons I wrote Phoenix from Stability to Power. Because there comes a point where you stop measuring your worth by who comes after you. You begin measuring it by the peace you have when you stop abandoning yourself. That's real power. It's trusting that the right people won't require you to convince them to value you. You see, the right people won't build a relationship around the assumption that you'll always be the one chasing. They'll meet you halfway. They'll communicate. They'll repair. They'll show up. That's what healthy relationships do. Yes, you have them uncomfortable because they expected another chapter where you ran after them, where you explained, where you apologized, where you carried the relationship again. But instead, they were met with something they never planned for: your self-respect. And that's difficult for someone who's always dependent on being chased. Not because you became cold, not because you became bitter, but because you finally realized something. The people who truly value your presence shouldn't have to lose it before they recognize it. So let them wonder. Let them sit with the silence. Let them experience what it feels like when someone finally refuses to do all the running. Because sometimes the loudest statement you'll ever make is the chase that never happened. Peace, blessings, love, and power.